Hello, welcome to Saturday Night Footy. Euro-Yroke and Walyalup, Saints and Dockers both need a win to keep up with the top-end teams. Great to have your company. Great to have the company of four-time Premiership Hawk Jason Dunstall and the former Collingwood captain and coach Nathan Buckley. Welcome, guys.
Good evening, Dwayne. Looking forward to this one. I think the eyes of the football world are starting to centre on the Saints. They've lost 4 of the last 5. Their only win coming over North Melbourne. A bad loss to the Hawks last week. They need to find something, Bucks.
They do. 6 changes into this game, which is in contrast to their opposition, Walyalup, tonight, who go in unchanged. So, yes, there is a bit of focus on it. I think Henry was, first game back was lightly raced. I think he'll be better for the run from last week.
14th on the ladder right now, the Saints. Ross Lyon needs a win, and he's with another member of our team, 3-time Premiership gun, Cameron Mooney. Welcome, Cam.
Rossi, thanks very much for your time. Round 10 feels like a big game for the club though tonight.
Really important after we were disappointed last week. Hawthorn beat us fair and square, but a lot of soul searching, in particular on our ball use, being more positive with it. If you're going to score, you got to take the contest on a bit more than we did, or a lot more. So a lot of work went into that. We feel our defence and stoppage work solid. 6 changes. We need to sort of shift things. We brought in some leg speed. Got young Lance Collard and 5 Aboriginal boys playing tonight, and they get an opportunity to express themselves within the competition, and it's a pretty exciting night for them.
Perfect round for them tonight, isn't it? Now Paddy Dow comes in. That's a big one for the club. Yeah,
well, he sort of almost did his ACL, but a lot of bone bruising, taking a while to get back. He really clicked into gear second half, so Fremantle #1 stoppage team really for clearance, so that's his absolute one wood. Yeah. So if he could come home 5 or 6 clearances tonight, that would really help us. And Philippi will get through there as well tonight. He went back with his BOG down at Wonthaggi, made the short trip down there. So, so that's exciting for us as a club, 2 new young midfielders.
And at the moment, Rowan Marshall seems like he's in terrific form for your midfield.
Yeah, almost carrying too much load, to be fair, like 12 clearances. But Jackson's a real handful, and but I just want him to be competitive. You can just see if centre bouncers, if they start banging it like over FCG forward and they get on the fly, it can get a lot of pain quick. So we need some competitive ruck work from him tonight.
Right, Rossi, let's hope they're up about as much as you tonight, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Rossi.
Annual Sir Doug Nicholls round. Some of the greatest First Nations footballers to ever play the game have done so representing these 2 teams. Tonight, we continue that tradition as we seek to celebrate the contribution of First Nations players right across the country. Please now welcome Senior Wurundjeri Elder of the Kulin Nation, Auntie Joy Murphy, to deliver the official welcome to country. Joining Auntie Joy is her son Craig, who will conduct the smoking ceremony. Following Auntie Joy's welcome to country, please remain seated for a didgeridoo performance by Uncle Ron Murray, proud Wamba Wamba man.
Wabinjakar, Wurundjeri Balak, Yemen, Kundibik. Welcome to the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people. I'm proud to be here on my father's country and pay my respects to all ancestors, elders and communities across our great nation and neighbouring islands. I'd like to acknowledge all Aboriginal and Islander people that are with us this evening, and especially from our Kirrips, our friends from Fremantle, and of course our St.Kilda team. I'd also like to acknowledge each and every one of you, your culture and your belonging, and as has been mentioned, both Craig and Ron. Could I also thank the St Kilda Football Club for the opportunity to speak here tonight at Sir Douglas Nicholls round, as my brother was the first Aboriginal player for St Kilda in 1952-53. And we all know that Sir Douglas has made a lasting impression on not only his football career, but what he did for our community. And to become a Vice-Regal in 1972 and still the only one Indigenous man to become a Governor of State. Tonight's match, I hope, will be a great one to celebrate the wonderful skills that each of these players and teams have. We hope that they will celebrate the strength and wisdom of our elders, and we certainly wish both teams the best of luck. We are the Managum people. It's a gift for you. I'll take this leaf on your behalf. Accepting this leaf means you are welcome to everything, from the tops of the trees to the roots of the earth. Notchkunwa, thank you for joining with us to honour the spirits of our ancestors, and have a great night. Wamenchaka, Notchkunwa. Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie Joy, Uncle Ron, Craig Murphy, and the players involved in tonight's Welcome to Country ceremony.
Indigenous players of the Saints. 33 Indigenous AFL and AFLW players have represented St Kilda, and they're wearing the jumper designed by Nathan Patterson. Home, land, the water, the waves, the sand, and the earth represented on Euro-Yroke's jumpers. Saints, Euro-Yroke, and Fremantle, Walyalup, their jumper designed by ex-Fremantle player Michael Johnson and cousin Daniel McHenry. Represents the bloodlines and the family of Fremantle. And beautiful designs they are, as there's an exchange of gifts just in the middle. Tapping sticks have been exchanged.
Thanks, guys. We'll get you to come over this side of the circle. There you go, camera.
Always a great part of the calendar. Sir Doug Nichols round, and big crowd building here for Saturday night footy.
Tails is a
You
goal.
have Saints fans in the house. And Walyalup won the toss, and we'll kick to the right of screen as we head back down to Cameron Mooney.
Thank you very much, Dwayne. Well, you mentioned it off the top. It's a huge game for both clubs, isn't it? Really need a win, particularly Euro-Yroke. Just need to make sure that they stay in touch with this top 8 at the moment. But it's going to be a big night for them to stop two of the young key forwards of the competition at the moment. Two really informed players in Tracy and Amos. Both boys absolutely flying at the moment, especially this man right here. It was Amos last year that really took the competition by the scruff of the neck, but this man here, Tracy, this season has really taken on the mantle as that #1 big key forward for him. He's big, aggressive, and we just see there Amos, who is extremely talented, as we know. So stop these two boys, and I'm sure it's going to go a long way to making sure the Saints get a win tonight, boys.
Yeah, there are a couple of very, very handy players. I love the way Josh Tracy's going about his business at the other end of the ground. A lot of eyes on Max King as well. He's spoken about so freely because he's a man blessed with weapons physically. 200 plus centimetres. He can run like the wind. He's got long reach. He's athletically gifted. But does he make the most of those weapons that he's been blessed with? And I think the way to remove all the talk, Bucks, is maybe just take your work rate to a level that no one can question. And then I think all the talk stops.
Yeah, that's about the only way it does. I think when you get touted as an early draft selection, that doesn't come on in time, and big fellas take a little bit longer, but he has had a bit of time, and there will be this opinion until you answer it, and when there's nothing more disappointing to watch than unfulfilled potential, and that may be what we're seeing. But then again, that'll be Max King's decision to make given his efforts.
Love the Indigenous jumpers. In fact, all of them, and some of them I'd go so far as to say are better than the original jumpers they play in. I wonder if that's just a sign of liking a little bit of variety, Dwayne, but I do love the way they've been illustrated.
And nice that so many of them are designed by ex-players. I mentioned Michael Johnson, 244 games for Walyalup. Michael Johnson, one of their big stars, and as I mentioned, Euro-Yroke, 33 Indigenous AFL and AFLW players have represented St Kilda over time. You could list a lot of great ones. Nicky Winmar and co. There's been some superstars. Great to have your company wherever you're watching around the planet. So Euro-Yroke and Walyalup.
Here we go.
Marvel Stadium. So Doug Nichols' round continues. Jackson, Marshall in the ruck, and Marshall does what he did a bit last week. Took it out of the air, kicked it forward. Pearce got on the end of it. He read it well through the air. Left his man, Brayshaw, Sarong, where he left off all season. Just a possession machine this year, and he finds Frederick out wide. Sarong leading all possession getters for average possessions per game this year at 33.3 per game. The long kick to congestion. Voss was there for the Dockers but couldn't get on the end of the long kick in his direction. Little shrug was okay. That was Dow, first game for the Saints this evening. Good to see him out there after departing Carlton, and that looked out of play.
One of the matchups I'm looking forward to is Jackson and Marshall. Marshall's been in exceptional form, and the coach spoke about him, but he'd be the only, at the moment, the guy that's probably contending for that AA position with Max Gawn.
Jack Steele and Nat Fyfe running together on ball at the moment as well. There's a matchup.
Jackson got to the front, knocked it down into that Fyfe battle. Frederick quicker. There's Dow. He's wearing the 15. Couldn't get on the boot. Steele. Patton, who was a sub last week, to the ex-Docker Henry. He got it out wide to the excitement machine. Wilson heads long in the King direction. It's a little wide, and Pearce wanted to take it out. He also wanted to disguise it well enough.
Spoke about Max King earlier. He couldn't have a harder matchup. Alex Pearce, who's been in fantastic form, leading Fremantle's intercept possessions. Luke Ryan just behind him, but as hard a player as any to play on as a key defender.
Owens doing the ruck work against the professional ruck. Jackson. Crowd screaming as Clark gets it and thumps it towards the wing. He had a low possession game last week after being tagged by Jordan. Little flick wide off the boot. Wood. Dow pushed as he got it inside 50 in Caminiti's direction, but he was led in the race for it. Still got it back into the lineup this week. Caminiti had to earn his way back.
Quite sharp, the Saints, early. They've been working on ball use all week, and their quick hand from inside to outside has been noticeable already.
Plenty of players around it. So Owens ducked his head into Chapman, but both players cut some slack. Crowd in good voice early. Important game for both teams. Clark happy to dance his way to the line. Henry a little quiet last week in his return game.
Luke, Anthony.
Hamstring strain round 2. Kept him out for a while, but back last week. Looked a little rusty. Jackson too clever, and the dance step was nice. Heads wide. Marshall playing behind the ball. That's why Owens is doing the ruck. So he can do that. Gave it to Wood. Floats it. Chance for the leapers. King, one of those. Owens got up front spot.
Thanks, straight away.
So Caminiti does some ruck work against Jackson this time. Towed away by Aish. Got it wide. Switkowski in a race, and he was content to help it out as well.
The Clark, who's been fantastic off half back, is picking up Liam Henry. There's speed to burn in that matchup. I'm sure we'll see them enjoying the open spaces.
So Justin Longmuir and the man he took over from, his Fremantle coach Ross Lyon in his second stint with the Saints. Sarong. Bang! Oh, Webster! He took Frederick down. He got a lot of sharing. He was on the end of one of those pre-season, and he has a look around to see if he's okay. In the meantime, play continues. A couple stunned out there. King knocked it down. Wood had a chance. Owens danced his way inside. Crowd stunned at both ends. Goal to Owens.
It's a great finish, but there's a lot of concern for Michael Frederick, who's going back with the flight of the ball now. We know some of the issues that we saw early in the year with a decent suspension, but that is just contesting the ball, isn't it? I don't think there's much more Jimmy Webster could have done.
No, and this is the difficulty in our game. There are going to be contact like this periodically. And whilst St Kilda went on to kick that goal, the concern is obviously with Frederick and his status physically.
And you know what? I also think the players recognised there was no remonstrating with Webster when Freo players came in. Walyalup players came in. They didn't remonstrate because they know it was a fair contest. He just jumped up attempting to spoil the ball. It's great to see him jogging off. It's a brilliant effort, and let's hope he's okay.
Yeah, so Jimmy Webster missed the first 7 games this year through suspension with a hit on Jai Simpkin, but that was he did get Sharon then.
And it just had to be him, didn't it? It had to be Jimmy Webster.
But he didn't tuck the arm in. It wasn't a bump. The arm was raised to spoil. It was attacking the football.
And he came out of it with
sore
a bit of a limp as well.
Yep.
And there's booze coming over the fence, but I don't know whether he can be criticised in any way for that contest.
Two rush collide. Crowd's still a little stunned here. So we'll keep an eye on that. The 2 subs, by the way, Tom Emmett for Walyalup. And Zach Jones is back in for the Saints. Hill caught. Milera
was on this ground. Jordan Lewis had a similar one just in front of our commentary box here. It was a fair while ago now, but when you see those, they take the breath away.
Frederick has just gone downstairs, guys, obviously just to do a couple of tests at the moment.
Flick down. Few have gone down. Umpire to get through the traffic as well. Ryan, good collect. Little bouncer to Walker, who walks it out.
The fact that he ran off, guys, is going to be a great sign for him, even though we're just looking at Emmett at the moment, just about to take his shirt off, so it's going to be interesting to see which way they go here.
Back into play. Marshall. So Sarong's ball, as you can hear. Had 46 possessions in round 1 against Brisbane. 34 in the loss last week, averaging 33.3. They're going to have to stop him. Walker heads out wide. Howard got there a little late. Wood, Webster, Sinclair. 1-on-1. King wins it.
It's important for his confidence to win a battle like that early on.
Sends it in Windhager's direction. Clark got there and killed it.
And the supporters knew it too, Jace. As soon as he took that mark, the whole place went up.
Just want to see him get to as many contests as possible next game. Just launch himself at the footy. It'll happen for him.
Hit the meter.
Caminiti and Jackson again to do the ruck work. Little push and shove. Flicked out by young Clark. Bangs a torp away. He got 50 or 60 on it. Floats a little on a couple. Tracy with the knock on was clever. Had first hands on it, knew where he wanted to knock it. Webster through the jam. Hill had to lay a half tackle, towed away. Big ball to win. Young got there, won it. Johnson back to go forward. Walker, Sarong, Young, and now Amira's inside 50 in space. Plays on quickly, unselfishly, and finds Voss.
Yeah, breakdown in the St Kilda defence there. They committed so many numbers to the contest, and Fremantle were able to beat those numbers, change the angle, and get it out to fat side. Just that the hands by Sarong and Young there with the access to go to the open side of the field was enough for them to be able to find this uncontested mark.
Steady. Played a lot of his football here in Victoria. And it's across the face of goal from the boot of Patrick Voss, ex-Giants Academy.
Very good, clear it out. Thank you.
Essendon under-18s and VFL. Picked up by Fremantle.
Good Wagga boy too, Dwayne.
Specifically, Moons?
Turvey Park.
Okay,
great footy club.
Weave that in.
Just his 3rd game, but there's 3 tools, genuine tools, 195 plus in the Freo forward line.
Webster fairly allowed to earn it by Amos. Battle.
Play on, play on, play on.
Had Wilkie out wide one way, ignored it. Howard. Steele. Wood. Slams on the boot, gets it long. Marshall, good contest. That's Collard on hands and knees in the 4 in game 2. Henry got it. Floats it a little. King! Free kick. And it's Walyalup. Chapman.
Even though that contest was inconsequential in the end because of the free kick, the way that King launched at it was what you want to see.
Clark doing Clark kind of things, running and bouncing and kicking wide. Banfield.
Holding. Fremantle.
Holding.
Stand. Stand.
It's a good competitor, Bailey Banfield. He just finds a way to get things done. Very competitive. Kicks goals.
And been a great survivor on and off the list 3 times. Johnson. Once corridor, there was no one home. Marshall, Hill, Wood. Stays corridor, down the spine. Henry back pedals, nearly had it. Just couldn't hold it. And now he holds Clark.
It's a dangerous kick from Johnson. I'm not sure what he thought he saw. Straight to the opposition ruckman standing on his own.
Palm down into that congestion, and then Jackson had to follow up and lay the tackle to stop Sharman from getting away. Sharman also back into the lineup this week. Hayes out. They brought Caminiti and Sharman back in as their extra key forwards. Young goes wide. Banfield again in that battle. Banfield, Bonner, boundary. Kept it alive. O'Meara straight to Marshall. It's getting it given to him a few times. Dow, Bonner, Hill. Big fly from Sharman, and he loves to do that. And here is the second game of Collard. Floats it across the face, and the mark taken by Sharp.
St Kilda just dominating the midfield, 9 inside 50s to 1. Fremantle haven't been able to get it through the middle of the field, and St Kilda have looked really sharp to be able to share the ball and get it inside. Just not a lot of payoff for that field, that territory dominance at the moment.
Aggressive kick to Jackson. Out wide to Walters, who was the sub last week, so should be relatively fresh.
Stand.
Tracy. Bullock toward Voss. Couldn't get there. Battle. Did he mark that? He did. Hill. Also an ex-Fremantle player. To Wilson. And he's got the goods, this kid. He heads toward the wing. Got style written all over him. King free.
Again, just that want to be in front and wrestle for that front position, Bucks.
Yeah, he played his first couple of rounds this year up the ground a little bit, so I'd like to see that.
So they've got, well, Filippo, they've got a couple of options down there. Filippo saw it bounce away from him. Pearce too far out to knock it through, kept it alive. Ryan got there. And again, Wilson just knew where he had to be. Pick 18 in last year's draft. And he's risen to the occasion. Every game that he's played this year, went to a personal trainer pre-draft and added 9 kilo and added to his burst speed as well. So when he was drafted, he'd be AFL ready, and he's exactly that, Darcy Wilson. Young lays the tackle.
I'm through. You want me to take mine, mate?
Big pack around this. Jackson, Owens again. Down, tried it with the outside of the boot. Filippo had a look to see what was coming. Ryan didn't want to get him high either. This time Dow rolls it, and he goes it. Paddy Dow, welcome to the Saints.
Not a bad way to introduce yourself to your teammates. Is it first game as a Saint, and he does that. They kept it alive. It looked like there were no problems for the Dockers defensively, but they just found a way to keep this ball alive. Philippou put his head down, but the ball comes out. Another slick little hand pass, and that's just that's making something out of nothing. That's clever.
That's the way to take advantage of of your territory dominance. Has 10 inside 50s to 2 now. So just to have the 2 scoring shots doesn't look like a great return, but it does build pressure on an opposition back 6 when you keep sending it back in there. And St Kilda look to have some pep in their stride. They're moving the ball really quickly by hand and changing the angle really well through the midfield.
73 games for Carlton. Paddy Dow, 21 goals. Nice way to start his Saints career. Long blast. Jackson got there with a fist. Cautious rolling tackle. So Tracy puts his hand up. Marshall against him. Good spot for a ball up for the Dockers. Walters had it, dropped it. Not clearing the tackle, which is allowed. Windhager wide, Sharp had it. Sharman had him. No free. Philippou, who's trying to get through those second-year Blues back into the team. Signed a 2-year contract extension to stick around and show his commitment.
Yeah, Ross Lyon spoke about him pre-game, didn't he? He got dropped last week, but he responded well. Best on in the VFL and comes back, gets another opportunity.
So Marshall fell on it and got it out. Yeah, it's funny about the... Well, Paddy Dow's another example. Just kept getting it 35, 40 times in the VFL over and over and over again.
But it's how you want to see him respond, Dwayne, isn't it? And so for Philip, it's very encouraging.
Inside, outside, gone, Johnson. He knew what he wanted to do, but he couldn't quite do it. Windhager. Howard. Wood. He's protected the drop zone a little. Fed back on it. Wanganeen-Milera tight ropes the boundary beautifully. Couple of bounces. Looks for the short. A little too wide, and it's on the full. So he didn't actually tight rope it as well as he would have liked. He fell off the edge of the rope. Johnson.
Hit the easy one, I reckon.
And he does to Ryan. Been getting plenty of it as well. Luke Ryan had a 39 possession game a couple of weeks ago. Sharp, Chapman under some heat and going back to go forward here. Now Johnson's going to have to go. It sits and he waits and he gets there.
It's really good vision.
That's on 5.
And that's dangerous. Patton chopped it off. Chapman under the heat. Windhager went hard and low. Jumped away from a couple, floats it high. Will King get there? He doesn't. Double fister from Pearce, and he's killed it, but it was a marking contest, so he's allowed to do that.
Yep.
You find players in this circumstance at some times when Johnson comes up off for a rotation, he'll be doubting himself a little bit. So the coaching challenge is to make sure that he keeps playing his natural game, hitting what he sees. It's only early in the match. There's plenty of time for him to go and have an influence and pick himself up off a couple of disposal errors.
Wasn't the best kick to challenge, but the other thing you hate seeing, you can't wait for a ball to come to you. You go and get it.
Wood sized it up. Got Bird on board. Tough to play on. Aish, does he know? He knows. Sometimes they fake that they don't know. Clark. Tracy. And they want the corridor 5. Walker. Too easy. Banfield. Nice movement. Set up by Walker. Going to be finished by Banfield. He goes long, goes square. Walters went up way early and nowhere near it. Battle.
Had a great opportunity to hit Voss on the lead. Straight at him. Just ignored him.
Jackson. Young. He has a chance for the steady step. And misses.
What sort of feedback would you have given if you were Voss?
Well, look, he's a third gamer, so he's probably not sitting in the forefront of the mind, but Banfield's going inside 50. An opportunity to hit a player leading straight at you.
We just saw on the TV then, guys, so that sub has been made down here for the Dockers with Frederick off at that HIA and Emmett coming in.
He's a loss, Frederick. That's some leg speed out of the team.
Tracy made it his own. Clark's had plenty of it. Finds some space and again goes long. Amos, his target. Was he pushed? Wilkie's marked it. Umpire says it was a mark.
Last couple of inside 50s haven't done the forwards any favour. Walyalup.
Wilson, Owens, down the line. Well, Marshall was half held, and Walker claimed he was being held himself, and
he's very lucky. When that whistle came, I thought he was going to be pulled back.
Wanganeen-Milera. Henry. Will he wheel and go? There's no one on his outside. He does wheel, and he goes out wide. He's hoping for Philippou, who couldn't quite get there in time, and Clark killed it.
It's been good defensively, Jordan Clark. We're used to seeing him run and carry and get lots of possessions off half-back, but he's had a couple of critical spoils and cut-offs of attacks.
Jackson, Owens, Brayshaw weaves his way past a couple. Young. Wilkie got there from 4 deep, got a touch on it, but knocked it straight to Banfield, who fed it on, and they're out here. Voss, the handball off. Not sure Mira wanted it. Voss gets it back, shrugs. A couple of don't argues to 5. He turned inside, probably should have gone outside. What he couldn't turn was the clock back. Bonner. Wanganeen-Milera.
They had a season high 84 tackles last week, the Saints. I don't know that they're going to hit the same number tonight, but the quality of their tackling has been first class.
Spear pass is good to Marshall. And he rolls it along the deck. That's not the kick you want. It was the kick Clark wanted. He's got plenty of time to use it wisely. Here's Fife.
Well, this will be interesting. He's not one that's normally confident when he gets the ball in set shot range. Does love to give it off, but this is a really big kick for Nat Fife and for Walyalup.
Well, he turned his back and he was really clear. He hasn't looked for the handball. Jordan Clark is excellent then. He was the one that responded to this ground ball quicker than Henry was on it, delivered inside.
2 goals for this year, Nat Fife. And he just doesn't kick the big moment goals either, not just.
No, he got very close to the man on the mark.
Yeah.
It looks a short, stunted run-up.
Philippou in discussion there with the Docs. Doesn't look to be too bad with the Doc having a laugh.
Okay, Bonner out wide. Marshall, and now Windhager can turn. Got some space. He turns for King. Round of applause every time he gets it. Thumps it long, and that's probably a bit too long. Kicks it to the crowd that was applauding him.
Yeah, but that's okay. You know, he's trying to move it quickly. He knows what the forwards want. Mitch Owens in the pocket, looking for a one-on-one, just to kick a little bit astray.
Chapman thumped it back. Marshall. Little flick to Windhager, worked. Toe poke, Philippou. O'Meara, Sarong. Weaved his way past them, but then kicked it to Wanganeen-Milera. Good contest by Switkowski. Now he's got the speed to take on Howard. Mesmerised him outside of the boot. To attacking 50. Amos couldn't trap it. Brayshaw does. Goes back. Fife. Little fumble. Got it back. Found Walker. Open side. He's got Ryan, who could go for home here if he wants to. Luke Ryan. He goes instead with the pass target to the pocket, and Johnson.
Great change of angle by Fremantle there. Walker to turn and go so quickly to Ryan, which gave him so much time and space. And Matty Johnson, who took that mark with Brad Hill in his wake, has just done an absolute up and back when Brad Hill ran him 150 metres the other way. So he gets his lick of the ice cream here.
And he really does need to lick that ice cream for the Dockers' sake. Got a good taste of it there.
We spoke about him earlier, Bucks. A couple of kicks, defensive side of the ground, trying to make something happen. Didn't quite hit the target, but to be able to push forward and kick one from a tight angle when the team desperately needs it, that'll do wonders for his confidence. There's a good little square up from 5-2 to move it quickly to Walker that allowed that change of direction.
Yeah, he's a big, strong boy. He likes it inside, and he's really coming along well in his career, Johnson. But as you said, Dwayne, a really important one to be able to take and finish.
His progress stalled a couple of seasons ago in 2022 when teammate stepped on his foot and broke it. And he's really growing as a player now. This game 28 for Matthew Johnson. Putting together a good season. Played every game so far. Brayshaw going nowhere.
Luke, Rowan, same again.
Both teams coming off losses last week. Fremantle by 48 to Sydney. Saints 5 to Hawthorn.
What they have done.
Oh, that's 50.
Oh, very lucky.
Wow.
Walyalup have been able to square up the territory battle a bit. They were horribly down, something like 7-1 the inside 50s. Now it's 13-9, 13-10 after this one.
Voss, Young, Sharp. Big finish coming up to the quarter for the Dockers.
Yeah, what's impressed me is Voss's follow-up. Like that's the third time in this in probably the last 5 or 6 minutes he's competed in the air, but been as agile and clean handling it below his knees as anyone on the field, and created opportunities for his teammates.
Jeremy Sharp every game in his first season at Fremantle after no senior games last year with the Gold Coast. Splendid kick, and the blink of an eye, Walyalup in front.
So as you rightfully pointed out, Jace, they're tall up forward. You know, Voss and Amos and Tracy. They haven't played those three that often. With Darcy out, you probably need one of those guys to second ruck. But when you're a big unit and you're following up like that, you justify your position.
Yeah, if you can be agile at ground level like he was then.
Square, guys.
In just his third game, that's a terrific bit of play. Nice little celebration too. Entitled to it.
He's really come on the last 6 or 7 weeks.
Been a good recruit, a really good recruit for them.
Big 2 minutes coming up to finish this quarter. Walyalup hot at the moment. Sharp also hot at the moment. Couldn't get near that. Windhager jumped on it, so had to get it out.
It's a little bit about recruiting and trades. You know, he was middling and sort of, I suppose, he was paddling a little bit at Gold Coast,
yeah.
But then he goes to a new environment and he just blossoms at the right time. So it's proven to be a good trade for the Dockers.
Aish, Clark, handed up to Sharman. Was that a handball? It didn't look all that much handball-like, but you can get away with a lot these days. Chapman.
It's like 5. Get on.
Down the line to the wing. Amos the target in a wrestle. Wilkie wins it by putting it to the line.
Well, we spoke about the battle between Max King and Alex Pearce. Jai Amos gets a pretty fierce competitor in Callum Wilkie as well. Does not get beaten very often at all.
Marshall looks more for Jackson than the Sharon. O'Meara, Aish, Jackson, hands free. Young, good build-up. Sarong thought about going for a home for a split second and instead finds Voss, who's been lively.
He just keeps presenting. He keeps attacking the ball. This is a brilliant passage of play. The last 5 to 7 minutes for Walyalup has been excellent. The way they've had composure going inside 50, they just continue to identify good targets.
One of the fish John West rejected, in essence. Couldn't quite make it at the Giants after being part of their academy. He's making it at the Dockers.
We missed his first shot at goal earlier tonight, and was missed on a hit up shortly after.
Yep.
But he's had some really good ground level opportunities, and this one wasn't meant for him, but it got to him.
Yep.
It's important bit of play too when you're in the line of the ball. At least you follow up, because that would happen so often where the ball just carries a little bit over the desired target, and then you become the player in the prime position.
Looks like he's got some good forward craft, Patrick Voss. Just kept himself alive in the corridor, read the play, played in front, attacked it, and got the benefit.
There are a few Bomber fans screaming for him to be listed by the Bombers when he was there for a couple of years. Seconds start ticking to quarter time. Jackson having a big impact, goes back to Aish, put him under the hammer, brought to the ground and had it, and took an eternity and got cut some slack. So was it not clearing the tackle, or did he make an attempt? They're the two decisions the umpire has to make if he doesn't have prior. Dragged in this time.
Very lucky to get away with that.
Time enough for something ridiculous perhaps, and that's about it. Flung in the air.
High contact, St.Kilda.
Okay, so something ridiculous here. You'd need to be quick though, or you'd need to torp it. No. Quarter time, Marvel Stadium. Sir Doug Nicholls round. Slow start from Walyalup, but they finished strongly. 3-2-20 to Euro-Yroke. 2 straight, 12. Quarter time, Marvel Stadium, good contest. Saints look hot early, and the Dockers hotter than hot late. Kicked the last 3 goals of the quarter to lead 3-2-20 to 2 straight 12 for an update downstairs on the condition of Michael Frederick. Cameron Mooney.
Well, thank you, Dwayne. If you're just joining us, the big incident that will be spoken about from that first quarter is this collision here between Webster and Frederick. About 5 minutes into the first quarter, we just see here Frederick running back with the flight of the ball, and Webster, I think we all believe that's all eyes on the ball there. We're going to have collisions like this in our game when players are going to run back with the flight of the ball. We know Webster's coming back from that suspension, but if we all have a look at that, probably believe that he's going to be okay with how he had his eyes on the ball. And the good news for Frederick as well, even though he didn't pass the HIA concussion test, is that he is okay. He's sitting on the bench at the moment, guys, so all good there from the Freo Dockers.
Yeah, fingers crossed there's no lasting effects for Michael Frederick, but we think it was just a football act, and I don't know what else Jimmy Webster could have done other than pull out bucks, and I don't know that we want to get to that point in time where you can't contest the ball because you're afraid of what might happen.
It's actually not that often we see those 180-degree contests where you're directly going the opposite direction, and Webster made a beeline for the ball and competed, as did Frederick, mind you. He'll be sore for a while, and as you say, we hope that we don't have lasting impacts from that. But Walyalup have been fantastic through stoppage. #1 in the competition for stoppage differential and scores from that source. They're 12-9 up from clearances, and 2 of their last 3 goals came from stoppage, and they were able to impose that part of the game on Euro-Yroke as the quarter wore on.
Yeah, from a Euro-Yroke perspective, they'll be disappointed not to be leading at quarter time. They had so much play early, they just couldn't make it count on the scoreboard.
Max King looked lively. They have a couple of lively options forward. They tried to move the ball a little more swiftly than they have in recent times. Second term underway. Marshall, Jackson. Jackson gets his own clearance, speeds away. Switkowski's got the speed. Heads out wide instead of going himself. Sharp on the back pedal. Battle tried to kill it but didn't. Wanganeen-Milera. Wilkie gave it to Battle. Out of trouble here. Well, Henry just waited for a split second. Allowed Walker to go and get it. Goes back. Draper, Walker. They're going the other way, of course, just for those who've joined us late. Fife, they're going the other way, of course. He goes backwards to Ryan.
So that's a good 70 metres from where Walker went back with a flight to kill that contest. But he's a great athlete. Love the way that he goes about it, Walker, and he's coming on really well in his career.
Yeah, he's got 7 touches. He's had a good impact already tonight.
Ryan. Jackson stalking this, and nearly. Bonner. Windhager. Good bump. It's got him out of the general area by Draper. Jackson tries to manhandle his way through the traffic and into the Sharon. Didn't quite get away with it. Now he waits for it to come out, and the umpire will sort it out. Marshall and Jackson again. Big pack around it. Wood wobbles it to half forward. Bouncing ball. Owens got there. Clean handling. Poor hand off. Ryan. Young. Inside to Fife. Had to wait for it. It gets there eventually. Goes back. Aish. Down the corridor. Jackson. Slick. Marshall knew exactly where he was going though. Bonner. Hill's got out the motor and he got there. Faked inside, went outside. Ryan got up. Too good. Now the Victorian back home. Luke Ryan, there's a few of them in this Walyalup lineup. Marshall flies front of the pack and Battle tried to claim it for a second. Henry. Some room to move and gives it back to Ryan. Plays on quickly this time. Switkowski. Wanted the corridor initially. Sharp. Clark. A lot of possessions, no scoreboard impact early in this second. He made that impossible for Sarong, but he's good enough to make something of it. Out towards Fife. It eludes him. And we'll get a ball in. Good to see him playing regular footy and in form. Nat Fife. Being watched by Steele, or he's watching Steele. Take your pick as they're side by side again. Steele beat him to it. Gave it to Wood. Blasted around the body. Caminiti put it to grass. It's been his story of the year, really. And how's the umpire going to read that? And
it's Anthony's kick.
Yep.
There's a bonus. You drop a chest mark and you get a free kick. Consider himself lucky. Got to take those opportunities, but now they get a chance to go forward.
Sends it in the King direction. Oh, held it for a long time, but not long enough.
But he looks like there's a serious thirst for the contest right now.
It's like waiting for the public holiday bus. You're kind of waiting and waiting. You know it's coming. And the moment you give up, it'll turn up. He's due to turn up soon, Max King. Clark bangs it away towards the wing. High ball to be won, and Wilkie too good.
That was an important one because the top of screen, Amos was 20 metres goal side of his direct opponent. If Voss had got a hold on that, they were out.
Bonner waits. It's been a good pick-up as well in the off-season, delisted by Port. And now King couldn't get there. He got there from 3 deep. Hill with the crumb. Looked inside, didn't want to go for goal. Great grab, Jackson.
Even that last contest from Max King, didn't get anywhere near it, but he crashed the pack.
Yeah.
The ball came to ground. And they're the things I think that people are asking to see or want to see.
Pocket picked, Caminiti. You can't get the banana to bend on the full, but gee, Josh Draper was under the hammer there.
I know Caminiti was really apologetic directly after, as Jackson takes this mark to cut off a forward foray there, but you've just got to make the most of those opportunities. The good teams do that, and it can be the difference between taking that advantage on the scoreboard or not.
Particularly when the opposition gives you that look in their defensive 50, they give you an opportunity for a forward 50 goal from turnover.
Sarong to the two rucks. Marshall on with the fist. And Howard stayed in. Fife has handed that away. Sinclair, Dow, Bonner, Marshall, Bonner, Ryan. He read their eyes and they're out. Tracy hands it off. He won't catch Switkowski. He goes with the pass instead. Amos hasn't seen a lot of it, but this is a big moment now.
Gee, that's clever. What about the work that Luke Ryan's doing at half-back? I'm sure there's no jumper clash there.
Is he doing the work, Chief, or are they just giving it to him?
That doesn't look red, yellow and black, that jumper, does it? But they keep kicking it to him or handballing it to him. They just can't miss him at the moment. But the quick turnover, the spot up was good. And then love the work going forward. Switkowski didn't want to blaze away. He just picks a target.
No, I love him as a player. He definitely makes this Walyalup side look a lot better when he's in it.
12-9 this season. Normally better than that.
What do you suggest? I mean, this is a guy who kicks really well, but his run-up is not traditional.
He nearly goes to sleep halfway through. There's no forward motion in it.
Might get another go at it here, Voss. Forward on. Banfield. Can't take his moment and can't score.
Well, it's like we just saw at one end. Caminiti misses an opportunity, and then there from a kick out. Walyalup have the chance to punish the Saints, but can't do it.
Play on.
Hill.
Coming inside. Play on.
Bonner. Battle. Sinclair. Howard. Pumps it down the line. He's got King as the option. Goes up. Again. I held it long enough. High is the free. So you can play on from a free kick, but you can't play on from a mark. But he paid the free.
I thought he paid the mark.
No, he said too high. So
it's a good clean grab. Anyway, he looks like he's up for it, and that's going to be a great contest throughout the course of the match. King and Pearce.
Spear pass is good. Windhager. Give him some room to move. Heads to the square. Off hands Filippo. It's in there somewhere. Marshall puts it in there somewhere. Into row 8.
Go clear it, please.
Saints led early, kicked the first 2 goals of this game. Dockers have kicked the last 3. Tracy waits under this. Ball fell to the back. Sinclair. Hill kept his width and bangs it. Oh, and that's what he's capable of.
That was touched off the boot too, guys. The umpire didn't call it.
It's a big effort how the defenders down the back there knowing that it was touched off the boot.
Well, let's hope Jordan Clark doesn't complain about his own non-spoil, because that happened this season. And the umpires thought
you can
he was
hear it
talking to
quite
them.
clearly down here at ground level. The umpire didn't.
Okay.
Well, they need a reward. He's got to kick this, the challenge.
He's had the Blues a bit this year. Everybody knows how high his upside can be. Mitchells.
So getting their share of territory at the moment, but it's turning territory and forward half play into score. So 19 inside 50s for just the 4 scoring shots. It's not enough. Whereas Walyalup have got 6 scores from just the 13 inside 50s. So just turning those inside 50s into scores the issue at the moment for the Saints.
Guys, let's go.
They're all adamant, the Walyalup players, that they heard it touched off the boot, aren't they?
It did cost them a game earlier this season. Walyalup began the round 9th, 5 wins, 4 losses. Euro-Yroke began the round 14th. This one's touch, and they all scream it. Every umpire screams it and screams it loudly. Owens couldn't quite pick it up. Now he does. He got a little nudge, and now he's jumped on. Len Matthews would call for that to be in the back. Jumped on whilst you're on the ground. Not paying those, and this one's a free, and it's going to Dow.
Possession number 8 coming up for Paddy Dow, his first game for Euro-Yroke.
Sends it to the top of the square. Owens got up from 4 deep. Crashed it to the ground. Henry couldn't find a gap, but he gets a high contact free. So Liam Henry against his old team, one of 5 Indigenous players in the Saints lineup this afternoon. 43 games for Walyalup, part of their next gen academy, traded for a 2nd and a 4th round pick. Had some hamstring issues this year. He also has A huge upside. And he celebrates in style, Liam Henry.
Yeah, that's great return for effort for Euro-Yroke. They've been able to balance up clearance a little bit more and to get that deep field position, and then it just puts back sixes under pressure. And if you can get a free, it's a lot better to get a free in your forward 50 than it is in your D50. And Henry puts his head over it here, and Chapman looks like he legs him there even before the head-high contact.
Just a sloppy tackle from Jago O'Meara going in a little haphazardly with a left arm over the shoulder. Had to be paid. The umpire just off the ball, had the right angle to see it.
Caminiti into the ruck now. The 2 second rucks. Tracy and Caminiti in there. Good steal from Steele. Heads long. Here he is. Max to the maximum. Tonight, perhaps.
There's some feeling in this one. This has become personal, Bucks, these two. He looks like he's ready to scrap it out, Max King.
It's his early work. He's been able to put Alex Pearce off his balance, and then to be able to get 1-2 steps and go launch at highest point. And when he does that, or when any tall forward does that, they're very hard to stop.
Crowd gives him silence. And he can't give them a goal.
That'll come. The finishing will come. I think you'd be really encouraged if you were in the Euro-Yroke coach's box to see that.
What you're seeing right now from him is what we've been crying out for, hoping to see every week. So
well done, Max.
Caminiti got there and almost pulled it down.
It's been a great patch for Euro-Yroke at the moment. They're on top. They're dominating.
They're 5-2 in clearances this quarter alone, so they've been able to turn one of Walyalup's strengths against them in this quarter.
O'Meara down the line. Well, Tracy was allowed into that with Amos almost calling him in. And now he spears that lace out to Voss. So they've found a bit of chemistry, the 3 key forwards for Walyalup.
You can't kick that any better, Josh Tracy. He turned, he wheeled, he saw the lead coming from Voss and just nutted it.
Well, Howard could have been right on his shoulder. He wouldn't have been able to get it.
Wouldn't have made a difference. It's as good a kick as you'll see in league football to a leading player.
Sprays it and just scraped in for a behind.
Voss has got a Brody Myercheck body. I just noticed, like that's those solid trunk legs, and if he's got the work rate and the tenacity of a Checkers, he's going to go a fair way.
Yeah, look, he's frustrated with that miss, but his work rate and his intent has been first class.
Dow heads out wide. Jackson, he was in position A and then let it spill. Flick over the top. Fife was waiting for. O'Meara gets there. Jackson caught, got his arms free. Did get a handball out just in time. Windhager tried to thread the eye of the needle. Fife over it, ball up. Heading toward the halfway point of the AFL season. These two teams desperate for a victory, both coming off losses last week, both expected to make finals pre-season. Slammed long, good battle. Amos, body on the line. Wanganeen-Milera, good crumb. Got away just from Emmett. Trouble though. Sidestep. Walters. It's not quite the old Michael Walters.
Oh, had to go with the hands. He was thinking kick the goal, but then had to change his mind when he got tackled from kick to hand pass and couldn't affect it.
Webster, Philippi. King, one-on-one. Pearce, King, Jackson, Aish, Fife. They want the corridor. Walker found some space. Switkowski turns. There's a panic. Goes to Walker. He's got the long on. He heads long. Well, for a raffle, Amos pulled out the winning ticket. Had 3 that could have gone, and they worked it out nicely between them.
Yeah, they got the mark in the end, but that's probably not what you want going forward. Everyone converging on the one spot. You'd like them to lead and present in different areas, but Walters was going back. Foss was coming across, and Amos was Johnny on the spot.
This should be bread and butter. In his normal form. Casual. And misses.
Yeah, that's 2 misses. There's absolutely no momentum going through with his kicks.
I think he's got slower as he's gone along, and you do get the yips. You can lose your form, as you go along. I think he's just going too slow, not enough momentum. You'd know better than I.
Yeah, and just because there's 0 momentum, you've got to find that as you drop the ball, and all of a sudden you've got
to find that power.
The kick has to really accelerate through, whereas if you've got a little bit of momentum in the run-up, and you don't have to run, you can still be walking. But there's just nothing before he goes to kick the footy, and that's making it tough for him.
His nickname's always been Dead-Eye Jai. Jai Amos. Hasn't been that this year so far. Little nudge by Wilkie. Got away with it on Voss. Hard tackle by Switkowski. Good to have with us. The man who kicked 1,254 of them. Goals, that is. Jason Dunstall. From the palm down, Sinclair. We turned into Banfield, and was that? No, it wasn't.
Hold the meter.
Flung in the air. Jackson. Marshall. Dow. Good tackle, Sarong. Got a kick away. Patton couldn't quite find it. It was there somewhere. He just couldn't clean handle it, and that's what happens when you don't handle it cleanly. They come from everywhere. Ball up. Big pack around it though. Fife turned into a jam. Wood turned out and dropped it cold. Emmett. Sarong bounced it inside. Dangerous spot. Young got free. Johnson on the move. Nice handoff, and this time it works. Dead-Eye Jai on the run.
Well, that's what Walyalup have been doing to sides throughout the year. The stoppage, they're going into even numbers, an even-numbered forward line, but Young, who's been a little bit quieter as a midfielder, sent forward, but very clean there. And then a chain of possessions to a player in best position to be able to finish. And it's good to get that opportunity when you've missed a couple of set shots.
He's frustrated, Ross Lyon. I don't think you can fault Dougal Howard. He actually attacked the footy, had front spot. He was a couple of metres clear from Amos leading towards... Well, he just got a nasty bounce. And then the release hand pass found Amos out the back. Ross a little frustrated.
Walyalup back in front. From the ball up. Windhager went hard and then overran it. Tunnel ball by Young. Sarong. Fife. Clark coming off half back. Walters stands under it. Battle got a hand on it. Well, fingertip on it. That was it. Walters played for it. Umpire wise to it.
Windhager and Sarong finding themselves on each other quite a bit. Pretty even in disposals at the moment, and just a work rate clinic from both of them.
Hate smother Young. Kept him in the area. Battle feeds it over the head of Fife. O'Meara territory. Henry wrapped him up. Aish hands free. Back to O'Meara. Meeting the sandwich. Gone. Into that steel trap. Hands it up the hill. Patton's going to have to go. Does go. Left it behind. Caminiti dropped it as he turned into Clark, and it's allowed. Owens. We might be front row to the Machino show this afternoon.
You just read that a little bit quicker than the Walyalup defenders.
Either Pearce or Draper went to sleep.
You watch him, he takes off, he sees where the ball's coming out the side, and the defenders are just still tracking the contested ball to see what's happened. He's already making space because he knows it's coming out this side of the ground, and that's where the quick kick's going to go. And then he's already bought himself the time to steady, and it's a good finish.
Three goals now for Mitch Owens. It's the Mitch Owens we saw last year. Euro-Yroke back in front. Recall. Marshall, Jackson. Dow edged out of it. Steele clever. Windhager. Sinclair. He might go all the way. He doesn't. He chips it. Oh, it worked until it didn't. Little fumble in the end by Patton. King tried to mop up his mess. Couldn't. Slammed away towards Banfield. Dow looked around to see what was on offer. He knew Wanganeen-Milera was there. Got past Banfield. Outside of the boot kick. Sinclair. This time goes to a safer set of hands, and Sharman has this within him.
I reckon Ben Patton would be pretty happy that it's come back. He had a chance to get two hands to that, and just didn't want to lose his feet potentially, or didn't want to, take that extra step. But Sharman with an opportunity here to give Euro-Yroke a little bit of distance on the scoreboard.
Pretty good off the boot, just drifted last second, and he, like Patrick Voss, he is the former Giants Academy player not listed by the Giants. Had to work hard, came to Melbourne to study, went to the Sandful to get noticed. Cooper Sharman, and he's back in for Euro-Yroke this evening. Ryan wide. Clark. Everyone takes a breath and he heads wide. Jackson stalking this. Got up, left it behind. Webster. Dow. Hits a pretty good spot with the kick. Aish. Nice float in and grab. Ryan. Easily noticed with his dyed hair. First dyed it years and years ago because of a Justin Bieber fan, of all things. Looks good on him now, though. Wilson sees this one smothered across the line. He's been a great servant for the club, Luke Ryan. Dying Ryan, if you like, not Flying Ryan.
Anthony.
Gave up footy for a year, and his mum went and played with his mates for a year here in Victoria for Maribyrnong Park. And his mum said, I want you to have another crack at the AFL. If you do it, I'll buy you a puppy.
Good call, Mum.
Yeah,
good call.
Absolutely.
Bought him a heck of a career now.
Here's he what? Aish slams it on the boot, gets it away. Marshall left it behind. Wanganeen-Milera.
So there is room for manipulation.
Yes. Solver of many problems, the puppy. Windhager. Marshall. Not quite Caminiti, but good enough. Here's Patton's moment. He's had a couple of fumbles, looks inside, the poke pass, not the required. Johnson got there, made it his own. Clark under some heat, good enough. Fife, always good in traffic, but he made it Sarong's problem. King, Sinclair, bang, he was cut in half.
Once again, credit to Max King. He had a choice. He could have stood at the top of the goal square and watched that ball get run out of his forward 50, but he put the work in. 20, 25 metres of work.
Hill, Sinclair, good fake. Kick not so good because Brayshaw didn't bite. Walters handed it back. Long kick, one-on-one. Amos, Wilkie, Amos.
Oh.
A miss.
Really good contest. The kick wasn't to his advantage. A shorter kick would have suited him, but he fought well to create a scoring opportunity.
Patton, tough kick. Half volley was delightful. Wilson. Hard tackle laid by Collard. Keeps it in the area. Young player Collard, pick 8 last year's draft. Wearing that number with a bit of weight on it. The great Tony Lockett wore the number 4. Barry Breen, Darryl Baldock.
Some reasonably handy names there you're mentioning, Wayne.
Absolutely. In terms of Saints history, you probably don't get 3 much bigger than that. Johnson, well, he fended, and that's normally Pryor.
No. Yeah, that's unfortunate because that was clearly a fend, which constitutes Pryor.
Clearance huge with 1 minute left here. Bounce to half forward. Flick on from Patton. Well, he wasn't flicking it to get it out. He was flicking it to get it back again, surely. Umpire cuts him some slack.
If it was the defender, he would have been pinged, Wayne.
That's true. Second game for the season for Ben Patton. Sub last week. Jackson gets his own ball. Bullies his way past a couple. Young from Walters. He blasts it. He's got Banfield. Webster slipped.
It's a great option in the end from Young. It was a really, really good kick. I thought he was just going to wait for Amos to prop and come back at him, which he did. But in the meantime, he saw Banfield creating some space. Wasn't the best kick off the boot, but got there.
Just when Walyalup go that, don't they? Especially off stoppage. They get offside, they get forward of the contest and use each other really well.
For the lead back, seconds to halftime.
That's their 4th stoppage from goal. They're +4 in clearance, so that strength area that we discussed and is known throughout the competition, not only in the last 4 but throughout their whole season. This has been where they've been able to do most of their damage. And Young, who has played forward in the last 15 minutes, has set 2 goals up with his ball use.
It's a great finish, and as you said, Bucks, another goal from stoppage. A fascinating battle between Marshall and Jackson, and it was Jackson's clearance just on the defensive side of the wing to break away and then deliver a hand pass that released the forward clearance.
Been a fantastic seesawing contest.
Done again.
One last chance. Brayshaw, Young. Well, they won't be able to mark that, but they could crumb it. Siren sounds. Half-time. Marvel Stadium, Sir Doug Nicholls round. Justin Longmuir, 5th season as Walyalup coach, taking over from the great Ross Lyon, who's going to go and have a chat to his Euro-Yroke men and try and generate some momentum back their way in the second half. They're down by 3 points. Walyalup lead half-time 5-6 to 5-3.
Fantastic first half to watch, but dislikes and likes, what are they from the first half?
Well, I think when we're trusting ourselves and we're getting through and using their hands the way we want to, we're getting through them and creating opportunities. But yeah, contest post clearance has just really let us down. -18 post clearance contested ball. Would just ball security has been an issue. Not getting organised behind the ball has been an issue.
10 marks inside 50, so you are getting a look at it when you get in there. Is it bad kicking or not good enough looks as far as your entries?
I think we missed some pretty easy opportunities. Like Jai usually kicks both of his, and Vossi missed a couple. So, but I don't think really that's the issue. Like we've had 21 inside 50, so we need to make sure we get a bit more field position than that.
All right, Justin, thanks, mate. Appreciate your time.
Good on you, mate.
Been a hard, tight seesawing contest. If you haven't been with us the whole time, Saints kicked the first 2 goals, and then the Dockers kicked 3 in a row to end the quarter and take the lead. At quarter time, Saints held the lead again in the second term, but the Dockers lead by 3 points now with a half to play.
Midfield battle's been fascinating, Bucks.
Yeah, Sarong and Windhager has been a great contest, and for Sarong and Windhager's had Sarong's the responsibility of him throughout the game. He's 14 touches at half time, which sounds a bit, but he's had 24, 21 and 21 at half time the last 3 weeks. So to keep him just to 14 is actually a great result. And Windhager's finding the ball himself and working really hard around the ground. He's a fine young midfielder that's coming of age and cutting his teeth against the best midfielders in the comp.
Marshall and Jackson to go at the ruck contest again. Saints began the round 14th. 3 wins, 6 losses. This is huge for them. Dockers likewise began the round 9th. 5 wins, 4 losses. From the bounce. Knocked down in the direction of Dow, who clashed heads with his own man, Windhager. They're both a little dazed. Switkowski, Sarong. He bounced it to Walters through legs. Walters couldn't quite get it and go, though. Back up, Sarong shut down.
And who was it that found him in the end? He was 20 metres behind Sarong, but managed to get to him to stick that tackle, Windhager.
Some good battles within the battles. Wood squeezed it away, and Henry. Right spot, right time. Dangerous, but the life order Wilson in the end who can go. Hill. So are they going to take it on more? Wanganeen-Milera. Wilson. Caminiti on the overlap. Couple of options, one of them Wilson. Caught and thumped into the deck by Johnson. He's okay, thankfully. Hill. Inside, outside, over the top. Henry couldn't collect it on the half volley. Sarong. Fife. Runs away from the kid. Chapman. Amos got up there. Battle beat him. Pulled it down, almost the mark. Sinclair. Marshall. Turns and goes dangerously. Skips it inside. Howard. Almost. Tracy. He locks him up.
Got to be gone.
Brayshaw got it anyway. Banfield. This is the money kick. Missed Walters. Wilkie got a toe on it. To his own advantage. Wanted to go back rather than go forward. Webster. Sinclair. Bullet dodged.
Geez, you see congestion in the game, but it couldn't be any bigger. The ground couldn't be any bigger at the moment. There's space everywhere.
Wilson again. Hill. Just pumps it. Henry might have to leap here. Instead, Caminiti went up and got it. And that might be a big confidence booster.
It's taken a while to get up here, but as we were saying, like, the ground was really big. What I mean by that, there was ping-pong footy. There was turnover after turnover after turnover, and the structures that you normally see in teams had been lost. If you're prepared to work hard enough and you're in the right place at the right time, you were going to find the ball. And Brad Hill was the one who ended up pumping that ball in, and Caminiti took the mark to close the play out and give them a chance to score.
Got a blood rule happening here at the moment. It's interesting. The last
been from the centre bounce.
Yeah, the last couple of times coming up this side of the ground, you've seen Wanganeen-Milera, Hill, and Wilson all involved in the play. They're 3 best runners just going, trying to link up.
7 goals, 5 this season. 26-14 career. Hasn't scored yet this evening. Pulls that to the near side.
That's now 30 inside 50s for 9 scores, which not a great return for Euro-Yroke today.
Ryan. This strolled until Owens came at him. Jackson caught behind, got a paw on it, knocked it down and got it back. Johnson. They want inside. Fife. Couldn't quite get past them and made it Aisha's problem.
An aggressive hand pass back inside at the best of times.
We heard the coach talking about confidence with our hands, and that might be an overcorrection to try and drive the legs and use hands, because that definitely wasn't on that occasion.
I had to sort that out.
It's Justin Longmuir is often criticised for not having a team that's aggressive enough. So if he's definitely asking for that at half time, that's what we should expect to see.
So Caminiti was held. Umpire saw it.
Clearance from Rowan Marshall. Gee, they're racking up big numbers. The ruckman. Marshall's had 21 possessions. He's got 5 clearances to his name. Jackson's had 17 possessions and 7 clearances to his name. It's just like extra midfielders. He's got to go back and kick this one. Caminiti. He's just had a side up. He's a lot closer in this time, directly in front.
10 metres out.
Got to get reward for effort here, the Saints.
For the lead back. And to bring the crowd back into it. The man they call Hammer hammers it straight through the middle.
This game could be won simply by taking advantage of your chances. The back sixes have definitely bested the front sixes so far, but as you said, Jace, Rowan Marshall, who leads all comers with possessions on the field, was just able to get his hands on it, go forward, and Draper's given it an easy free kick away, 30 metres out from goal, straight in front, and Caminiti was able to finish.
Been a great story as well. Anthony Caminiti signed pre-season last year after one training trial game performance. They signed him before he went home that night. That's how impressive he was. Gave him their last spot. Fighting hard to resurrect this season as Marshall does Marshall things. Smacked it inside, attacking 50 after taking it out of the ruck. Caminiti, it is hammer time! Two in a row!
Off the back of another Rowan Marshall clearance. The ruckmen are just dueling it out there, chalking up big numbers, big clearance numbers. It's now 7-6, the clearances in favour of Jackson, but the last two clearances from Marshall resulted in goals to Caminiti. That's just a good finish off one step.
I wonder if the ruckman taking the ball out of the air more often is happening because the midfielders are actually opening up that centre clearance. You can see they don't want front position. Ruckman are doing it more and more, and Marshall's the guy.
Well, the other reason they can do it too is it's not considered your prior opportunity, so if you get caught when you take it out of the ruck, it's just another stoppage. So we're seeing a lot of ruckmen having big clearance numbers themselves now.
Marshall had 28 possessions last week against Hawthorn, including 12 clearances, and was best on ground in that loss because of his clearance impact. Jackson tries likewise, nearly got caught high. Windhager caught by Sarong. Did he make an attempt?
I reckon grabbing it out of the ruck by a ruckman against another ruckman is one of the ultimate flexes too.
It's in your face too, isn't it?
And both have been with their big boy pants on this evening. Been one of the great things of this fantastic game of ours for 100 years. The ruck battle between big men. That was almost dropped. Holding. Well, he dropped it early enough, Clark, for him to be held on to too long. Chapman. Sharp. To half forward. Pekowski got there a little late with one palm. Howard wasn't quite where he thought it was, so he couldn't pick it up. It's in there somewhere. Henry lays the tackle.
Good bulleting work by Tracy just to hold it in, not allow the rebound, set up for another stoppage.
High contact, St.Kilda.
So high contact. Jackson got the palm down, but Marshall wins the free.
As good as he's been, Luke Jackson, he's been one of Walyalup's best. He just knows that at the moment in this third quarter, Marshall's getting on top.
Howard. Bonner. Had to be precise, and it was. Scott Battle out wide, uses him.
Just Walyalup are normally a zone defence team. They've nearly gone hard man on man here, which looks like must have been an instruction at half time.
Good grab from Chapman. Ryan was there behind him to protect in case it came through. They want that corridor if they can. Draper. Ryan. And they tend to use Ryan if they can. Pearce. Clark, and they tend to use Clark also as their get out of half back man. Turns it over though. Howard couldn't quite hold the mark. Yeah, Clark kept to his lowest possession tally of the season by James Jordan last week, but he's been fantastic off the wing this year. Justin Longmuir, 5th season as Walyalup coach. Ross Lyon's 2nd season as Euro-Yroke coach on the 2nd time around. 5 seasons at the Saints before that. Long bomb, full forward, off the hands to Webster. Bonner. Not a lot to go to because, as Buck said, they're pretty much one-on-one. So he puts it out to a one-on-one on the wing. Wilson went the foot, missed it. Hill went the foot, missed it. Walker left it behind, tried the party trick. Bonner gets there. Comedy of errors, and the umpire might have to sort this out.
Great effort by Walker. Initially defended Darcy Wilson, then was able to block the kick off the ground by Brad Hill, and athletic enough to get in that contest and halve it. It's been really good today.
Both rucks didn't get near it in the end. Sarong, Johnson, Walker used his speed. Young, Henry wrapped him, got arm free. Walker to Clark, wobbles it. Good contest by Tracy. He got it to ground, but Saints had the numbers. Wilkie, Sharman. Collard's out. If he can get it, he can go. He does get it. Got to it, put the Jets on, got there, and then wobbles one out on the full. Big moment for the second gamer there.
Yeah, it's a skill error, but the intent is clear to move the ball quickly. Tried to get it down to Max King in a one-on-one as quickly as possible. So the intent's okay. It was just a skill execution error.
Sharp. Two rucks are standing there. They were holding each other. Marshall was holding more than Jackson was. Advantage paid. Young spears it. Amos. Arm chop.
Haven't seen an arm chop free for a while. Oh. But just that ruck contest has become pivotal, isn't it? Like, if it's not one or the other of them winning it out of clearance, it's a free kick around the ground. It's whoever gets up in that match up in the next 45 minutes is going to take their team a long way to the win.
3 behinds before he kicked his first goal tonight. Jai Amos hasn't kicked one from a set shot yet.
A little bit further out from some of the kicks we've seen, Dwayne. So maybe that will force him to have a little bit more momentum in the run-up.
Gets a boo or two. Set sail. Not bad. Awesome. Dead-eye Jai back in town.
It's a good finish, Buck.
Send him the tape, Jace.
He does it pretty casually, but it's a good finish.
Act like you've done it before, they say.
But you were spot on, Chief, though. There was a little bit more momentum in that. The fact that he had to kick it a good 45, 50 metres.
Looked a good spoil from Dougal Howard. Tough on the arm chop.
Serious? It was right on the elbow.
Attempted spoil.
You would have kicked 2,000 goals.
So we make it very hard for defenders at times, Bucks. You're trying to reach to the ball, a little bit of arm-on-arm contact.
You would have had your name at one end of this ground if you got a few of those.
You had to go there, didn't you?
Gazan Brownie would have you wash your mouth out with soap trying to speak on the behalf of defenders.
Great to sit next to the third greatest goal kicker of all time. By the way, they've taken the names down here at Marvel. I'm sure they'll get them back up at some stage. Sarong in the meantime. Heads wide. Called into it. It was O'Meara. Emmett knew that he was backing back. Brayshaw backs back.
Good courage. Really good courage. That could have been nasty if it was a metre deeper, that kick.
He doesn't believe he's got this kick in him, so he goes to the pocket. Well, they've got options aplenty, and Voss was the man who started it all, and he could give them the lead back here.
He's impressed the way he's presented time and time again, and the kick from Brayshaw was very, very good. He waited until a decent option unfolded. He had a couple leading in the pocket, and then he saw the big fella coming at him. Had a couple of metres break on Webster.
Saints kicked the first 2 goals of this half. That was for 2 in a row to the Dockers.
Missed one from a very similar angle in the first quarter. That's his 4th mark inside 50. Walyalup have taken 6 others, but Voss is the only multiple inside 50 marker for his team.
Unfortunately, it's 1 goal 3. Which is disappointing because he's playing really well.
Cameron Mooney downstairs.
Well, we're just seeing a sub being made down here at the moment. It looks like Sharman's the one that's come off, guys. We're just going to get some notice on that one, but Jones is on the ground at the moment.
Yeah, you would have thought one of the tools would be subbed.
King, Wood, Bonner on the back pedal. No mark. Draper flew high, got hands on it, so they were inaccurate last week. The Dockers kicked 4 goals 15, and that cost them. And there is Cooper Sharman. And Zach Jones not far away from getting on. Also back into Saints lineup this week. Speaking of back in, Ryan had to go back and get it. Down the spine to Ace. She sat on his head. Already been a couple of those collisions today. One of them earlier on taking down Frederick. Tracy's got it. Brush past a couple. Outside of the boot. Heads wide. Walters.
Really interesting there. It looked like Tracy burnt his teammate and Sharp. I don't reckon he actually had the ball clean in his hands when he was ready to handball it. And then by the time he'd regathered it, he was facing forward
and it was
able to
kick.
finish. Yeah, it was a great kick.
Elite kick.
4 possessions so far this afternoon for Michael Walters. And he can't turn the clock back either.
That's disappointing because there were 2 great efforts in the middle of the ground. Aish going back with the flight of the ball was terrific, and then Brayshaw coming through to keep the ball going forward through traffic. Deserved a goal.
At one stage last week against the Swans, Walyalup were 110 to the Swans 10-1. And that is, well, for 150 years it's been a difference maker. Good kicking at goal. Howard.
Well, it's threatening to derail their performance again, Dwayne, tonight.
Long launch in the Marshall-Jackson direction. Great grab, Marshall.
That is some battle.
Floats it in the King direction. Owens, King! Almost. Gets the crumb, though. Hands it up. Half a tackle. Sarong fed it to Johnson. He wants the corridor. Everyone knows he wants it. Emmett shrugged, and they go. Advantage paid. Brayshaw heads out wide. Voss.
Great play.
Taken to the line, but Max King, well, you mentioned he needs to play a bit more like the great Wayne Carey this week, Jason.
He's getting aggressive, and you saw him do some work on Pearce before the ball got there. Just chucked him out of the way, using his size. It's great to see. Nearly took the mark. But what it is doing, it's bringing every ball to ground. There's no intercept marks happening around him.
Johnson, Young. Amos kind of tied up, couldn't get the run at it, and Battle gets the run at it.
He's become so reliable down back in the Saints' defensive mix, Josh Battle.
The classy Darcy Wilson goes out to Bonner so they can take off on the open side. So Battle, who had it initially, had the overlap, but just delayed it a second. Now he goes longer. Ryan thumps at 30. Wanganeen-Milera tracked it. Banfield tracked him. Emmett. Walters. Almost fooled himself. Clark. Good scoop. Great kick. Put it on a platter for Amos.
Basics done well are really important. Now, that wasn't an easy collect for Jordan Clark. The kick wasn't perfect. He was hitting it at pace, but he was able to take it clean on his shoelaces and then bought himself just an extra couple of strides to be able to look up and find that target. So basics done well. Shouldn't be a surprise that you actually get opportunities from it.
Another kick from 50 now for Jai Amos. See if he strikes it as well as the last one.
Started with 3 behinds, and this is another one.
It's an epidemic proportions, isn't it? 3 from Voss, 3 from Amos.
It's another one where he got incredibly close to the man on the mark.
Fifes that went out of bounds in the full, which didn't even, hasn't even counted.
Down the spine, well read Chapman.
And that's not to say that Euro-Yroke haven't had their misses as well, but in the last 10, it's mainly been down the right of screen.
Johnson. Thumps it long. Banfield got up from 4 deep. Wilson through the congestion. It was downfield, but they'll play on advantage anyway. Sinclair to Henry. Aish for company, but he takes him on. Likes what he sees inside. Patton. King screaming for it long. He's in position A, King. Heads out wide. That's too wide for everyone by the boundary umpire.
So this is the third or fourth time they've kicked it out on the full, looking to move it quickly down to King in a one-on-one.
Pearce. Second season as captain. Bangs it to the wing. Amos comes up to make a contest. Jackson was with him. Amos almost marked that. We tried to convince everybody, but didn't, unfortunately for him, convince Jacob Mollison. Jackson with the reach. Gets it back. Marshall got him back. What a battle that is.
Marshall up to 26 possessions and 7 clearances. Jackson on 19 and 8 clearances.
Fremantle.
The umpire standing off it. Saw that.
Yeah, against Zach Jones.
Who is the sub who's now on. So he's fresh and maybe a little overzealous there. Zach Jones. Voss couldn't get the big run at it. Stumped down to Emmett though nicely. Filippo hasn't seen a lot of it yet tonight. Chapman went in. No room to move. On a knife's edge with 5 minutes to go to three-quarter time, and Ross Lyon knows how big this is. 14th they are, the team that made the finals last year, the Saints. And their season on the canvas if they lose this. Brayshaw about to send Walyalup back inside 50. A speared ball. Tracy not quite. Last 4 scoring shots, the Dockers, but only one of them goals. Ball knocked down. Dow head strapped after coming off under the blood rule. Oh, that was an accidental. Didn't throw it back to the umpire. Flung in the air. Bonner kept it in. Big ball to win on the spill. Okay, so Filippo wins a free. Play on advantage. Jones just on. Steele. Cut in half. Pearce. Captain to the captain. He looks around. Who does he want? Plenty of Saints behind him. Heads into the congestion. Amos got the fly. Sinclair the crumb.
11-5 inside 50s this quarter. They've been able to dominate field position, and the pressure is just building on the Euro-Yroke back line.
Fife whipped his way through them. Young with a banana. No.
Oh, Josh Tracy in the corridor with the arms up. A centre ball often works out a lot better than a miracle off one step from the pocket.
We're talking about the difference between the best teams and teams that are trying to prove that they're ready to take that step. I don't think that the best forward lines aren't afraid to share the ball an extra 2 or 3 touches to find a better opportunity to kick the goal.
And you mightn't necessarily get a mark, but you might get another stoppage there right in front of goal.
Patton again left it behind.
Not to mention, guys, they're 1-6 from anywhere from 15 to 30 out tonight, Fremantle.
Yeah, good point, Moon. 6-10 to 7-4 and scores a level. Owens! Nearly. There's been a few of those this season. Nearly mark of the years.
Didn't quite get the leverage, did he? He needed someone to jump up under him as much as he was jumping on them.
Yeah. And he's having a good evening at the office. Mitch Owens, Chapman, Young, Grubber. Emmett almost let Wanganeen-Milera pick it up so he could pick him up. Emmett on as the sub for the Dockers after Frederick was out early. It's good to see him back in this kind of form though. Mitch Owens. Steele. A torp. King might get there for the contest. Does, but was stumped clear of him. Game 78 for Max King. His form's been debated more than the origin of the universe this week. But it's been an interesting evolution for Max King. 2-2 last week, but just 8 possessions. Looking better tonight. Johnson heads long. Leapers go up. Crummers stalk it. Amos left it behind. Howard knew what he wanted to do. Voss just went and got. Brayshaw. Johnson. Kickable. 6-11.
They keep creating opportunities. But are these misses going to come back to haunt them?
Wilkie. Danger again here now. Sharp. I'll do it myself. He goes all the way. Marked on the line.
Gee,
they're going to check it. No, they're not going to check it. Umpire was confident. Battle got back.
He had Brayshaw in the corridor, Bucks. He chose to go himself.
And the rest.
Yeah, they were queuing up in the middle, weren't they?
And that's what, I think that's what happens. You start getting desperate. Just make the next best, easiest decision. Share the ball.
Aish. Sarong mopped it up. Young. They're pressing. Walker floats that. Sinclair killed it. Back down the corridor. Windhager gathered it nicely. Kick through hands. Jones. Owens. For number 4. Looks up. Sizes them up. And messes it up.
That's the same there. But it's advantageous.
Yep, clear mark.
You might as well go for the mark rather than just scrolling.
100%. But again, there, Mitch Owens. Are there better options? Just wait till a player gets free rather than pinging from 50 on the run. These decisions are all going to play out to the final siren, Dwayne, and one decision could make the difference.
It's always a good decision if you kick it.
Correct.
Wanganeen-Milera gets the sit, but Tracy knocked it out. But as Buck said, even the decision by Josh Battle not to knock that through means scores are still level. Even the behinds are important now.
Yep.
Palm down to Steele. Ridden a little hill. Handball smothered. Switkowski somehow. Johnson somehow. Walters has to go and get it. Howard right with him. Accidental deliberate fumble. The umpire lets him off with.
Professional that was. You mentioned Jack Steele in that mix-up there. It's just the 11 possessions for him. Been very quiet.
Side by side with Young at the moment. For this ball in. Inside a minute to 3/4 time. There is Steele, but he overran it. And Young, the man who was on him, got the kick away. Banfield turned in. Jackson, sidestep, gone. Wrong way down a dead-end street. Hill had him.
Stepped the first one, didn't know there was a second coming. You can see Walker lurking for the hand pass too out the back.
So the 1 minute signs are up. What is the plan here for the Saints with seconds left? Milk the seconds, maybe the option.
Yep, we may just go to 3/4 time, all tied up, Dwayne.
Down the line, King got a hand on it. Hit at speed by Classy Darcy again. Can they get a score out of this with a mark inside 50? Bouncing ball. Owen stalking it. Marshall there. Can they get a boot on it? No. He can turn a game, Darcy Wilson, and he nearly turned that in favour of the Saints. As it is, it's all tied up. Stage is set for a huge final quarter at Marvel Stadium. Saturday night footy. Great to have your company. 47 apiece. Crowd a little nervous here at Marvel Stadium. 1/4 to play. And the Saints, the home team, who began the round 14th, are coming off a loss last week to Hawthorn in Launceston. They made 6 changes at selection, and they're on the ropes again this evening. The Dockers have them there with a big finish to that third term, but they couldn't put the score on the board. Just 1 goal and a run of behinds as we head downstairs to Cam Mooney.
Well, Pipe, it's very rare you get both ruckmen being arguably the most influential players on the ground. It's the modern-day John Nichols and Polly Farmer at the moment. These boys are absolutely flying in Marshall and Jackson. We just have a couple of look at the highlight here. Marshall probably just in this third quarter, maybe just got his nose in front of this contest. But as we said, both players are having huge games at the moment. Coming needy there, just finishing off the great work. And as you said, Bucks, it's a bit of a flex when one ruckman takes it out of the ruck from the other. But the influence on both of these players is unbelievable, as we talked about. We just have a look at their stats as well. 26 possessions from Marshall, 28 hit-outs and 7 clearances. With the 19 possessions, 26 hit-outs and the 8 clearances from Luke Jackson. And you see the hits to advantage there. So these boys, whoever gets on top in this quarter, boys, just might win the game.
You're right, Moons. It's been a great battle, and one of those players could spearhead their team to a victory here, because at three-quarter time, Bucks, it's almost impossible to separate them. Walyalup had all the play that quarter, didn't take advantage of it, but we know momentum swings.
Yeah, it's whoever takes their chances. Walyalup were 15-7 inside 50s that quarter, but were outscored by Euro-Yroke, who kicked 2-2 to 1-5. So Euro-Yroke were 3 points better off that quarter, given all the dominance that they had against them. So they held up really well in their back half, but you wouldn't want to see the last quarter take the same profile, because I think eventually the team that gets the most chances will take them.
Comes down to this, 1 quarter of footy. Marshall, Jackson, Marshall. Sinclair around his body to half forward. Front on contact, Clark. I don't really agree, but wide ball and not Sharp's ball.
Trucks. Luke, Rowan.
So one-on-ones wherever you look. Old-fashioned footy. Jackson ripped it out of the air, gave to Sharp. Brayshaw found a couple of metres. Sarong, good fake, looked inside. He wants Emmett. If he gets him, they're out. And he got him. Walters on the move, got it.
Take his best from there. Gee, Sarong's vision was brilliant. That kick where he just propped on the wing. They had runners going down the boundary line, but he saw the option in the middle of the ground. That's what opened up the ground. He found Emmett in the middle.
St Kilda traditionally a team that defend the corridor really well. But Walyalup have been able to find those options.
He's gone the top. Can he score on it? Well, it puts them in front.
Don't see that too often, Dwayne. Players unloading a barrel.
Like to see it more, though.
100%. You see it after the siren, but not normally in general play. I had a feeling just a little bit too far out for Michael Walters, just outside 50.
Longie's sweating up. Turn the air conditioner on.
Because he just keeps seeing one opportunity after another being wasted. And we've seen it cost teams 4 points so many times this year already.
Hill, half back. Looked inside, went outside, and thumps it. Marshall, Jackson. Battle continues. Windhager. Back with the flight. Walker. Clark can go. He's got Tracy on the overlap. He's in a paddock, but he waited maybe too long. He had to go wider. Sharp.
Yeah, you're right, Dwayne. Could have gone to Tracy if he didn't take the bounce.
And now the Saints get back and fill the holes. Launches it. Howard launched at it. Didn't kill it to the boundary line, though. Stayed in.
Well, you certainly don't have to make an effort anymore. No. He wasn't giving that up for love nor money, Windhager. Happy with the stoppage.
Flung in the air. Oh, Jackson. Overzealous, you'd think. Advantage paid. Pumped wide, though. Not that much of an advantage. Pearce. Caught. Got it away to Sharp. Crowd's found voice. Jackson. Ball rolls to the back. Howard. Boundary line there, even wanted it. He wanted Wood. Bangs it around and finds Owens. bounced off his chest. Caminiti dragged down, and the game's gone up a gear. And the crowd, their voices have gone up a gear. Few Dockers fans in the house, but mainly Saints fans know their season is on the ropes. Might be over if they lose this. Sinclair pumps it. King one-on-one with Pearce. Pearce wins. Crowd screaming for a free again. Aish, he was an inside 50. Tracy got there late. Around the body kick was okay from Wilkie until O'Meara kept it in. He's got the moves like Jager. No, not quite. Jager O'Meara took it out.
I think he knew what he was doing too. He didn't want to get exposed in space with Brad Hill, who had superior leg speed.
Jackson ran around Marshall to get front spot and get the Sharon. Again, got a handball away. Emmett fumbled his way to it. Henry, desperate for a win against his old team. It's in there.
Here, guys. Come. Come in here. Luke, Ron.
Take a breath while you can. Young through traffic. Aish. So Amos in a 1-on-2. Going to be tough to beat the two. Thump down though, and thump central. Worst spot to knock it to. Emmett got it out. Sharp looks inside. Tracy not the required. He tried to fool everyone. He goes back to Ryan. Danced inside. Ryan. Post.
They cannot score. Cannot kick a goal, Walyalup. And he's getting so frustrated, Justin Longmuir. Doing a lot of things right. They're having all this play in the forward half, but it's not resulting in goals on the scoreboard.
Howard. Sinclair. Webster. Heads in the Owens direction. Pearce left his man. The Pearce-Ryan combo wins again. To Sharp. A wobbler. Free kick downfield. Young's ball. Dangerous kick, but fortune favours the brave. Tracy, he's got O'Meara out. He hit him lace out. No, don't tell me.
Well, they're kicking themselves out of it. Quite frankly.
If Euro-Yroke go down and kick a goal here, it would be demoralising.
Yeah, correct. Which is normally what happens in these instances.
Walyalup really need to kick the next goal. The way that the game has panned out, they've controlled it. They've gone inside 57 times already this quarter for 3 points.
Yep.
Off the back of 1-5 from 15 in the third quarter.
Ball spills to the back. Great tackle on Aish. He's taken 7-20. Gone.
Well done, Max King. Continues to do some really good things, even though he doesn't have a handful of goals next to his name.
To Hill. That's mighty wide. Oh, it stayed in. Huge moment for Collard. Looks inside. Go get that. Wood. Gets it. Gives it. Sinclair, normally a target hitter, heads toward goal. It's across the face and it's stumped through, and now the Saints have the disease. Ryan down the spine. Aish.
That's 10 behinds in a row. We're doing it by ones.
And it might be death by 1,000 cuts for St.Kilda if it keeps continuing. Sarong, a sizzler. Amos tried to fend. Fended high. No, it's to him.
I don't know what he was doing, why he didn't mark it, Joe Amos. He parried it with one hand.
Sharp has launched from outside and got in home.
We've seen so many regulation shots and opportunities go astray that it's Sharp who's able to produce something a little extraordinary.
We saw him go for one in the third quarter, and that one is high.
Yep.
Took the tackle on, and Mason Wood wasn't able to effect an effective tackle. But Sharp had a long one from outside in the third quarter. He's obviously very confident in his ability to hit the target and 1.5 meters further.
But I checked that on the way back to the middle.
But does he actually touch it? That's the thing, Dwayne.
Yep.
It looks like it goes close to the hand, but you don't see a finger bend back. They're just waiting while they do complete their score review.
Is there a pinky or an index? Is there an index finger there?
Maybe there's a touch, but where is it? And where's the ball in relation to the goal line there? There's the other angle. Oh, this will come back.
Review complete. Looking at these angles, you can see the ball's touched.
Wow. 11 in a row.
He's doing it all tonight, the big boy, isn't he?
So for those playing at home, the whole of the ball has to cross the whole of the goal line.
That could be massive in the context of this match.
Crowd have screamed their approval. Hill, he might be coming back with interest. Tracy, count that! You can't take that off us.
Well, in the end, the ability to finally get a goal on the scoreboard, Bucks, comes from an error from the opposition. Just a simple little chip kick out. Is there a bit too much on it? Should Hill mark that? He should be marking that, Brad Hill. In the end, a good finish off the one step from Josh Tracy.
Johnson's got a poke in the eye. I reckon it was. I reckon it was in celebrations.
Oh, there was a reach around that got him right in the eye. Oh.
He's just in the foreground here. He's still working it out. Geez, they'd be a little relieved. There's still a bit of work to do though.
Speaking of poking the eye, advantage paid. Young drives it long, heads goalward.
Oh, they've had opportunities to nearly kill this game off, Walyalup, but they haven't done it yet. The Saints, with a little bit of composure, can still take this.
Jackson, Marshall, Ryan and Owens are all there. Walker to push off. Couple of dance steps from Ryan, goes back to Sarong. Still an eternity left, but time on their side now. The Dockers heads in the Jackson direction. He's up. Bounced off his foot. At the sub, Jones, wing tackled. And the palm down. Hill ran into a jam. Young, wing tackle, almost threw it away.
More than almost. A little one-arm sling.
Oh, he ran into Banfield, who was chasing his man Bonner. Owens might jump here. King made it his own. Held it long enough, surely. Umpire said no. Jones plays on, pokes it, pocket, big grab, no, just not clear. It's not quite his night at the moment, Filippo. Not quite his season. But he keeps fighting the fight, the kid. And there's his numbers. Been unkind to even throw him up. Back into play. Henry. Well, how long is he going to be given? Was that an attempt? Did he make an attempt? You might up at home. Sarong. The wobbler. Battle. Tracy. Big ball to win here. And Hill wins it. Sprays it a little. Pearce, King. Pearce happy with that. Ball in. Not such a bad option for the Saints.
Ruck's nominate. Luke. St.Kilda Ruck. St.Kilda Ruck. Anthony. Thank you.
Flung in the air. Here they come. Short throw in. Jackson double-hander down to O'Meara.
Right, guys. Thanks, Jager.
Every little moment, a big moment now. Johnson wobbles it away. Kept in front though nicely by Wilkie. Left it there for Webster. Got it up. Wanganeen-Milera. O'Meara. Half volley. Almost marked that. Tried to convince the umpire he did.
He actually did it well because he knew he was in no position to do anything. Once he was able to smother the ball, make it look like you were diving for the mark and just take the stoppage.
Yep, look your mitch.
Pack around it. Clark going nowhere. But every second that ticks off the clock is in the Dockers' favour. Henry had it, spent it before it earned it. Ryan likewise. But it's tough at the moment. Some heat out there. The crowd starting to roar. They're roaring now. They're roaring really, really loudly, but no. Don't get what they were after. Ryan, Ross Lyon working the phone. He's running out of time. He's running out of runner options as well. He needs a goal so he can get a runner out there. He complained about not being able to pull levers last week. Heads out wide, off hands. See if the neutered dog, as he called himself, can find an answer to this.
Lead him up. Lead him up. No.
He did call himself that. Those are wondering.
As a former coach, Bucks, do you agree with the restrictions on the runners?
No, there's plenty of bodies out there. I don't think a runner coming and going every now and then makes too much difference.
Clark's going, goes inside 50. Big fists come. Steele. Gee, Marshall under the hammer. He gave it to the wrong man.
That's not the sort of hand pass you want to receive when you're flat-footed and someone just says, here, your problem. Good luck.
Am I the only one that sees nearly every tackle to ground now and think, oh, they're going to play a free kick against that? It's becoming ingrained really quickly, hasn't it? But that was a strong tackle, and yes, he was dead to rights, straight up.
Some genuine breathing space with a good kick here.
He takes a deep breath. He knows how big this kick is. The crowd watch it sail. Sails to the near side. So still 2 goals away, the Saints.
It was a very different kick from James that time. He ran out to the side, obviously. Late in the game, didn't feel he had the distance, went searching for it.
It's not uncommon for players to know where their range is and to give themselves a little bit of room to find an extra 5 metres or so.
2 straight kicks puts him in front.
Jones pleads his case. Heads long. Pearce got there late with a fist. Got a big set of knuckles on it, but didn't kill it. Steele. Wood wobbles it. Tracy, a little double grabber, but he's doing the Charlie Curnow roll. Get back behind the ball.
He's jumped into the ruck at the moment, Dwayne, with Jackson just having a bit of a rest on the bench.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Bring Jackson on to ruck the last 5 minutes, you would think. Freshen him up a little. It's huge for Walyalup, this game. They expected to play finals at the start of this season. Began the round 9th, 5 wins, 4 losses. Coach was under immense pressure pre-season. This season well and truly alive if they get the 4 points here. Maybe had some excuses last week, the emotion pre-game last week. Add to that their inaccuracy last week when they kicked 4 goals, 15. And they played the best team in the comp, the Swans. Marshall. Sinclair. Wood. on the back pedal. Gets it inside. Filippo through his hands. Tail of his season.
Poor boy, the moments, opportunities, he knows. He's got to put that out of his mind and get ready for the next one that might come.
Johnson found some space. Out wide. Voss caught by Battle.
For a big man, he engages very well at ground level, Patrick Voss, when the ball hits the deck after the marking contest.
He's shown that consistently throughout this evening. It's a strong aspect of his game. It's good to have that string to your bow, isn't it?
Pearce caught, slung. Dangerous tackle.
Saints fans getting frustrated. Continues to present as an outlet kick, Tracy.
Getting frustrated with their game, getting frustrated with their season. You don't win many games kicking 7 goals.
Outside 5.
Walyalup for their inaccuracy. A chance to win it, having kicked 17 behinds with their 7.
Suspect they'd like another goal. There's a lot of time still left on the clock.
2 goals can be kicked quickly in this game with 6, 6 and 6. Young back pedals. But we're inside 7 minutes now.
Move it on. High on.
Bangs it. Amos from 5 deep. Off hands Emmett. Banfield. Will he go for home? He's 50 out. Centering kick. Voss couldn't get there. Wood made it his own. And now they might go. They can slingshot here. Jones has got it. Wanganeen-Milera. Pressure on the kick. Owens got up there. Not quite the second grab. Clark did brilliantly. Knocked it to Aish. Handball to Brayshaw. Can they get a knockout blow? Here, the Dockers out wide to Sharp. O'Meara.
Clever lead, clever kick.
Really interesting that Brayshaw chose to go wide. They've been turning and going back to corridor nearly every time exclusively in that position. And on this occasion was happy to chip it back out to where the ball had come from, take the uncontested marks, maybe give yourself a little bit more time to hit the kick inside 50 and take a little bit more off the clock.
So any score here interesting. A behind, and it's 12 points and even 2 goals. A goal and 3 goals the Saints will need. In he steps. He has got it. Oh my, O'Meara. They are on the way. And the Bunnings build up to this arguably most important goal of the evening.
Well, you can see it coming out to a contest. Really good spoil from Clark, and then he does well to hit it back to Aish. And this is the one you're talking about. He's got options, but the last few minutes they haven't taken any risky opportunities. They've just said, let's play it safe. And then that's a great kick inside 50 to the backing up of O'Meara.
And Nat Fyfe had his hands up too, expecting that handball so that they could bring it out to fat side, and said, well, why not? Well, in the end, they discovered why. I don't think it's part of their plan to go back skinny in that situation, but it definitely worked.
I think, though, you get a little nervous when the game's on the line. You think, am I going to pull the trigger on that corridor kick or not? Something a bit safer.
Marshall ripped it out of the air, but to his detriment. The usual suspects, Brayshaw to Sarong, and he barrels one inside 50. Up flies Patton. Gee, did he go for the ball? So he was pushed into it, according to the umpire.
I would have thought that was going the other way. Emmett was running with the flight with his eyes on the ball.
Oh, yeah, little nudge.
Oh, against Banfield.
King.
Not against Emmett.
Yep.
Pearce. Johnson, the flick on. They've got to take it on now, the Saints. They've got no choice. Wood inside.
Stand.
Sinclair. Ooh. Little high. A lot high. Any higher would have missed him. Dow.
Stand.
They need a hero, the Saints. And they need one in a hurry. Is it Filippo? Yes! No!
The umpire put the whistle to the lips to pay that. and then decided not to. There's probably a few sets of hands on it, but you see them get paid a lot.
Jackson. Young caught a little high. Filippo gets another go at it and misses. Ryan.
Outside 5. Outside 5.
Back to Ryan. Saints fans are looking on with disbelief at this. This wasn't meant to be the way. They were finalists last year. Marshall.
How do you pay that one? Well, Tracy had a good part of it.
4 minutes, 3 goals. That's the equation. Been done before. Patton inside. Needs to be good. Wanganeen-Milera couldn't quite. Switkowski with the speed. Left it for Fife, who left it for Switkowski. Bonner, Patton, Wanganeen-Milera. Steele. Too wide for Wood. He might get a kind bounce, he does. Turns, corralled, and taken out by Tracy.
Really good from Josh Tracy defensively. Didn't let him wheel back onto his left, didn't let him get past, just centred the hips and stayed on him.
Don't often see those open field tackles one-on-one. Probably the boundary line helps a little bit, but still, great effort.
Clearances, the Dockers' friends, and right now they'll keep it in tight, not looking to get expansive on the outside.
Brayshaw. Saints fans have not left their seats. They know they might be about to get their hearts broken. Ross is working the phone. Second season, second time around at the Saints for Ross. And it's ticking away this season. Switkowski from Brayshaw to Aish. Down the line. Wilkie attacked it, couldn't mark it. Windhager went in. Voss with the strength. Voss, the boss, backed out, goes back in. Windhager picked his pocket. Float kick, Fife. Loops to Hamwood on O'Meara. Brayshaw, it was there. Had to go back and get it. And head to Banfield, and that's probably worked to their advantage. Time on their side.
5, outside 5.
2 minutes 20.
Move it on. Play on.
Flicked away, went for the chest mark. Wilkie allowed the opportunity to knock it out.
He's worked really hard.
He has.
Especially in the last 90 seconds.
He was a bit tired there, wasn't he? Needed to attack it with the hands.
Ricky, you can rest for 30 seconds if you get your hands out and take the mark. You'll learn from that.
Steele lays the tackle.
So Rowan Marshall's had 30 possessions, 8 clearances. Luke Jackson, 25 possessions and 10 clearances. What a battle.
Hits the deck. Seconds keep ticking. Owens brace for contact. Sarong working hard to keep it there, and more seconds tick off.
And Sarong's probably ended up working over Windhager. 28 touches to 17. Just kept keeping on. Effective 8 clearances, 13 contested possession for Sarong.
Fife, Young, Banfield. Across the face, but a ball in's almost okay. Keeps it in their area. 1:38 left.
Gives them a chance to kick another point here, Dwayne.
Yeah, we'll just milk it, maybe. Well, a point wouldn't really matter. It's still 3 goals for Euro-Yroke. But it feels like a Morgan here. The Saints fans know this one's going to hurt, and O'Meara makes it hurt a little more. It's over.
Well, that's his third shot on goal in the last quarter. Missed the first one, but then was able to kick the last 2. So it's a great return off the wing, mostly today or tonight, and occasionally at half forward, but it's been a good addition to Fremantle and played multiple roles for them.
For a midfield type, 4 possessions for the quarter's not big, but in the context of the game, to kick 2 goals from those 4 possessions is massive.
Been a lot of talk about how important percentage is as well. That goal's put Walyalup into the top 8, with some games still to be played, of course. From the restart, Sinclair tries to burst free. Wanganeen-Milera pokes the pass out wide. King, that's the tail of his night too. Fed back in, Filippo. Blasted towards goal and he threads it. Three goals, 1 minute.
Good to see him get a little bit of reward. He's tried hard. It hasn't been his night. He hasn't found a lot of the ball. He's got to stay involved, and when the opportunity comes, try and make something of it. And off one step, that's a really good finish from Filippo. Unfortunately, they just couldn't stay close enough, the Saints, when it counted.
It's ended up being just a territorial domination by Walyalup. They are 30 insides to 16 in the second half, and if they had have kicked a bit straighter, it would have been out a lot further, but they've controlled the second half, no doubt.
Get the clearance. Will it pass out wide?
There we go.
Wood turns and goes. Kick smothered by Switkowski. Put his heart, soul, body, everything on the line there. Sarong, Walters, that'll do.
It's another professional fumble. He does a lot of those just things you don't really see or talk about much with Switkowski that just count. Smothers like that, and then kicking out in front, boundary side of a teammate to kick the ball flowing forward.
I think he's a player that makes his side 3 or 4 goals better every time he plays, which is saying something. He plays with great intensity, and you're right, there might be just 5 or 6 efforts a game that make the difference at nearly a 2-goal swings every time he does it.
A little bit of a Freo chant ringing around the stadium for Walyalup. Amos inside. And Banfield can have one last say. 20,000 in the house. Saturday night footy was tight all evening. But these two teams might be ships passing in the night. Dockers on the way up. Saints finalists last year on the way down. Couldn't put the cherry on top, but it doesn't matter. Walyalup with the victory and the statement. Don't forget about us. We might be finals bound too. 9/18/72 to 8/7/55 in front of a stunned 20,000.
It's the win they needed to have, isn't it? Walyalup, just to keep them in touch, exactly as it says there at the bottom of the screen. You want to be in touch with the top 8, and they continue to do that. Just got to keep banking the wins and moving on, tackle each opponent as it comes. And whilst the margin mightn't be huge tonight, and the Saints haven't had an outstanding year, it was probably a slightly more dominant performance than it looks on the scoreboard, Bucks.
Yeah, I think Gritty wins right, and you've got the super there, but they were able to control and dominate general play for the most part. Their stoppage work was really strong in the first half, which they've been able to impose on most opposition. They ended up winning clearance by 15, so that's quite significant, 49 to 34. And in the end, you know, just the weight of on-field possession and forward half possession told.
Let's head downstairs. Cameron Mooney is with Luke Jackson.
Thank you, Pipe. Well, Luke, we'll talk about the contest between you and Rowan Marshall to begin with. I mean, that was a modern-day classic.
Yeah, definitely. He's a great player, one of the best rucks in the game, I reckon. So he's a good man as well. So no, it was a good battle. Yeah, good win.
Did you set yourself up for that one coming into this game, knowing that you're playing against him?
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely the type of player you want to play against. Makes you a better player yourself. So no, he definitely made me a better player today, I reckon.
What about tonight's win? I mean, you talked about it before. It's a really good win. It's a gutsy win. And you're starting to get that winning feeling away from home, even though everyone's talking about the travel, mate.
Yeah, nah, definitely. We love travelling as a team. We reckon, yeah, it brings us closer together, and we're not bad on the road. We just want to, keep getting better. So, nah, it's good.
What about this young midfield, along with yourself? You got Sarong, you got Brayshaw, you got Young going through there. You're all under 24 and under. I mean, this young midfield group's starting to grow. Yeah, definitely. We're a pretty young group, as you said, and really exciting boys with a lot of talent. So we've got some good coaches in there as well, like Smitty, and keep learning off guys like that. Can't go wrong with Smitty, mate. Go on out there and enjoy it, buddy. Well done, brother.
Two tales out there right now. There's the good news story of Walyalup being on the way up. That's a story within the story as well. Let's hope that Michael Frederick is okay. If he has concussion, and we suspect that will be exactly what we're told officially that he's got at some stage, then he'll miss next week, which is a huge game against Collingwood at Optus. And for the Saints, they've got Melbourne at the MCG next week, and they're 3 wins and 7 losses. Cameron Mooney.
Sonny, fantastic win for this group. I mean, you've been here for a long, long time now. You know this. You've been in some really good teams and some poor teams, as we all have when you've been in the game for long enough. But this team's starting to grow.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, it's the consistency that we're playing at. Throughout training, the players don't come in, nothing wavers. So they just want to come in, get better as players, but then also we're biting to the game plan as well, which is some promising signs. But there's still a lot of water to go under the bridge. But this young crop of boys, you know, they're putting in the hard yards.
I spoke to Jacko about that young midfield group. I want to talk about this young forward line, in particular the key forwards. They just look like they're just starting to come together. They are, and I wish they would bring a lot to ground so I can have a kick. But no, look, like I said, they're working on their craft each and every day, and to see them come out here and it come to fruition, which is the best thing. But it just goes to show the game plan we have, the young crop of boys that we have, and also the leaders. We're growing, and we're looking forward to training, but then also we're looking forward to games each and every single day. What does this week and this next 2 weeks mean for you, mate? Oh, it means a lot, obviously, for the Indigenous and multicultural cultures. I guess it means a lot. We can put it out there on a pedestal and just say, you know, and just show everyone that you know the First Nation people are here and we aren't going anywhere. And you know, for all the footy clubs to stand together as one, spectators, fans as well, because we can see what the players do. The Eddie Bettses, Sean Burgons, Buddy Franklin's, the Wiz. I saw the Wiz back in the change rooms. I mean, those guys are the ones that, you know, gave us the opportunity to come out here each and every week and just play. Go and enjoy, brother. We do. Thank you.
"17 points, the final margin." Plenty of Dockers fans made the trip, which was great. You could hear the Fremantle chant ringing around Marvel Stadium late in the game. And you want to know what love is? That's it right there. Fans that have made the long trip in love with the value they got for money here at Marvel Stadium tonight.
Still a difficult team to get a gauge on.
So they've
not often involved in high-scoring games, Dwayne.
Got Collingwood next week at Optus, and then Melbourne in Alice Springs, and then a bye.
So maybe the next fortnight will tell us a little bit about how far they might go.
Well, the high-scoring element is okay as long as it's not your opposition, or if they're low-scoring. But if you can't kick straight, it's hard to get high scores. They had enough supply. They had enough shots on. They just weren't able to kick straight off enough. It's been 2 weeks now, so they want to straighten that up next week.